You made it to midlife, and all of a sudden you're like, who am I? What is my life about? Let's talk about it today. I'll be right back. Good, glorious morning. It's Sunday, April 21st, and had an interesting 24 hours I've had in incredible downloads, synchronicities, inexplicable coincidences. Are you feeling this too? But maybe you're not. Maybe you're approaching midlife and you're feeling lost. And wow, I'm going to jump right into this. And I want to share with you. I feel like the information I need finds me exactly when I need it. And I think that's what happened today for today's episode. So if you're midlife and you've had some stuff happen to you and you're looking for answers, hang on, like stay with this. And I want you to get something. It doesn't benefit you to click on here for 2 seconds. You just wasted your time. So you might as well stay and get something. But before we jump in, I just want to invite you to pause and breathe. Just give yourself the gift of this moment. Pause and breathe. Pause and breathe as many times as you need to. Let the busy, obnoxious mind, that gremlin in your head, yield to the spirit, the soul. Will you today yield your mind to something deeper? Breathe in through your nose, deep. Belly expands, lungs fill to capacity. And if you are not used to this, how often do your lungs fill to capacity? And the power of it is that you go from sympathetic mode, fight, flight, fright, to parasympathetic mode, rest, refresh, digest. If you want to be in that state, take the time to pause and breathe. Your busy mind is kicking up. I already know it is. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to jump in here today. Good morning, Mandy. I'm glad you're with me this morning. Let's jump in. You're midlife. You're confused. Let's jump in. I'm going to read from an old piece of literature, but it yields so much perspective. This is Inferno, Canto 1 by Dante. Dante, you've heard of it. The comedy, the great comedy. Listen to this. Midway upon the journey of our life, I found myself within a dark forest. For the straightforward path had been lost. Ah, me, how hard a thing it is to say. What was this forest savage, rough and stern, which in very thought renews the fear? So bitter is it, death is a little more. But of the good to treat, which there I found, speak will I of the other things I saw there. I cannot well repeat how there I entered. So full was I of slumber at the moment. in which I had abandoned the true way. But after I had reached a mountain's foot, at that point where the valley terminated, which had with consternation pierced my heart, upward I looked. I beheld its shoulders, vested already with the planet's rays, which leadeth others right by every road. Then was the fear a little quieted, that in my heart's lake had endured throughout the night, which I had passed so piteously. And even as he who, with distressful breath, forth issued from the sea upon the shore, turns the water perilous and gazes. So did my soul, that still was fleeing onward, turn itself back to re-behold the pass, which never yet a living person left. After my weary body I had rested, the way resumed I on the desert slope, so that the firm foot ever was the lower. And lo, almost where the ascent began, a panther light and swift exceedingly, which with a spotted skin was covered over. I'm going to pause there. This is so relevant. It's so relevant. And I'm just read the first line. Midway upon the journey of our life, I found myself within a dark forest. It really, actually, I twisted the words. It says, midway upon the journey of our life, I found myself within a forest dark. That's a more literal translation. For the straightforward pathway had been lost. Ah, me, how hard a thing it is to say. What was this forest savage, rough and stern, which in the very thought renews the fear? You have come upon your road. You've gone down the road. You followed what you were supposed to do, but then it's almost overnight. It vanishes. And then he goes on to say, where is it? I'm finding the part here where he says the road disappeared. He says the path, the straight path disappeared. The path that was so clear disappeared. And then he's confused, uncertain, doubtful. It's almost to be enshrouded, like you followed the road and then all of a sudden it's gone. You wake up one day and it's different and you feel uncertain. And some of the things that I had just written about this. This is what I call a raw conscious moment. This is Cultivate Conscious Moments. It sounds very subtle, but when you think about cultivate a conscious moment can be raw. It can be so raw and real that you don't even know what to make of it. One raw conscious moment can cause us to feel lost, fearful, and unsure. The old identity that you relied upon has changed or been even destroyed. And there are the geese on cue. I tip my hat to you and the geese this morning. I shall raise my cup and say, good, glorious morning to you, because you made it to this morning. Your eyes opened, and however you arrived here, you're here. And this conscious moment, if we could put all your stories together and we could look at your stories that got you here, including your eyes opening this morning, you would marvel at the miracle of your arrival in this very conscious moment. Avoid taking it lightly. Good, glorious morning, everyone. You are awakened. I'm going to go finish what I was sharing here as I go through Dante. And it's this traveler lost midway upon the journey of life, found in a forest dark. For the straight pathway had been lost. What was so predictable and so clear and was working so well, it's almost as if it's vanished overnight. He says, me, how hard a thing it is to say. I can't come to grips with what's happening. What is this forest? Where is this place? Savage, rough, and stern. And the very thought of it renews the fear in me. And it says, it even goes to say, so bitter is it, death is only a little bit more fearful than where I find myself right now. But then he says, speak bitter is it, death is a little more. But of the good to treat, which there I found, speak will I of the other things I saw there. Now there's this awareness. What else did I see? After the initial shock and chagrin and melancholy and dark night of the soul, wait, there was something else there. Then he says, I cannot well repeat, how did I get here? Have you ever thought to yourself, it's the song. Here we go. When the days go by, on the water holds you down once in a lifetime. You may ask yourself, well, how did I get here? David Byrne, the Talking Heads. How did I get here? Did you ever ask yourself, how the HE double hockey sticks did I get here? I bet you haven't heard that one in a while. I'll grab your comments. Mandy is throwing in a lot of comments on YouTube. Let me just pause. I want to keep going through this. I'm feeling it this morning. If you want to go over to YouTube, this is being streamed live and recorded. You'll be able to go back. It's a huge favor to me if you're getting value from this. It's Austin James Haynes. I'll share it. If you want to go over there now, you can. But if you want to stay here, whatever works for you, it's Austin James Haynes at YouTube, and just hit subscribe. And we'll continue to journey together, because we all can be lost, as you hear here. And the world, in my opinion, the world is full of crapola. The world wants you to believe, everybody wants you to believe they have it figured out. No, they don't. All right. We're all in this together. We're at varying degrees of certainty and uncertainty. Let's just be real, right? And each one of you has a talent and a gift that's different than mine. And that's okay. Like, who cares? Let's just, we can figure this stuff out. But let me finish here what I'm sharing. I cannot talk about how did I get here, right? How do we get here? And then he goes, so full was I of slumber at the moment. I was asleep. I fell asleep. I drifted. I didn't jump off the path. Nobody jumps off the path. We drift. And he says it. I fell asleep. I was a slumber. And then he says, I abandoned the true way. Have you abandoned your true way? Well, good news. We're going to find our way back. But then he says, after I reached the mountain's foot, the valley terminated. Think about the metaphor of the valley. But after I had reached a mountain's foot. So the insinuation here is that although I abandoned the true way, I kept moving forward. He didn't stop too long. He kept moving forward. And then it says, but after I had reached a mountain's foot at the point where the valley terminated, which had with consternation pierced my heart. Chagrin, awe, melancholy pierced my heart. Upward I looked, the metaphor of looking up. I looked up and beheld its shoulders, the mountain shoulders, vested already. In other words, vested already with the planet's rays. The sun was already shining. I could see it. And which now the other people come in, which letteth others right by every road. If I look up, I look at the light, it has led other people to where they are meant to go. Then shortly after, then the fear was a little quieted. The fear begins to subside. That in my heart's lake had endured throughout the night, which I had passed so piteously. Which and piteously is in a way that causes you to feel sadness and sympathy. So I had passed the night in sadness and sympathy. And even as he who with distressful breath forth issued from the sea upon the shore turns to the water, perilous, and gazes. The 1,000-mile stare. My dad used to have this. It's synonymous with PTSD. And it's called the 10,000-mile stare. Those that have gone through trauma, they'll just sit. And it looks like they're just looking out through everything piteously. So did my soul that still fleeing onward. My soul was longing forward. Turn itself back and re-behold the pass. So my soul actually looks like was fleeing onward, but turned itself back to re-behold the past, which never yet a living person left. This is a brilliant line, and my interpretation is that your unique journey will never be trodden by anybody else. It's uniquely yours. Ding, 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 point of distinction. Stop comparing yourself with other people. That doesn't work. After my weary body had resting after the trauma and the confusion and the consternation, the way resumed. I resumed on the desert slope, so that the firm foot ever was the lower, starting again. Kay, thank you for jumping on here. I'm going to pause for a minute and just take some shares. We have some people on. We got Mandy. Mandy saying the geese are approving. The geese seem to be chiming in this morning, so we got them outside. And Mandy Robinson, I love raw conscious moment. They reveal our thinking and what needs to change. I'm going to go back to my journal, what I wrote. The raw conscious moment. We're going to talk about that. Momentum, awareness in every given moment is miraculous. That's a beautiful phrase, Mandy. Thank you. Momentum, awareness in every given moment is miraculous. And Lisa Owens is on. Hello, Lisa. Thanks for being here this morning. So glad you're with us. And I'm just going to take a moment and just pause for an appreciation for this morning, for the geese, for you. Just take a moment, pause and breathe. Breathe deep through your nose. Belly expands, lungs fill to capacity. You can pause if you like, soften your face. You, if you appreciate content, you need to appreciate no content. The mind is addicted to content. The spirit longs for the pause, the conscious moment. I've had people cry, just break down in tears with one raw conscious moment. And this is why this is such a beautiful message today. So I'm going to keep going. Because let me read here. One raw conscious moment can cause us to feel lost, fearful, and unsure. The old identity that you relied upon has changed or been destroyed. You may ask, who am I? Does my life matter? Did I miss my chance? Did I miss my opportunity? Did I make the wrong decision? Lo, everything is on purpose. And what I want you to do, I want you to make friends with these sentiments. Make friends. Make friends with the confusion, the doubt, the consternation. This is all about you discovering your true path. And midlife is not the end. It's a glorious, new, miraculous, unexpected beginning. And I have chills all over because I know someone is having a miracle right now. You thought you were flawed. You're not. When I say you thought you were flawed, you thought you were flawed as a human. You have flaws. And even the flaws can become miracles through a raw, conscious moment. Let's keep going, and then we'll wrap it up this morning. We got some great shares coming in. I'm going to do my best to get all the shares. We're going to pause again and breathe, just grab a moment. Once I end the live stream on LinkedIn and YouTube, I'll keep TikTok open because I can play some music. So I have a song I'm going to share with you. It's a great song. It talks about being in the vacuum, being in the void where you feel like everything is lost. So let me go back to the Inferno here by Dante. And he says, after my weary body had I rested, the way resumed I on the desert slope, so that the firm foot ever was the lower. And that's an interesting, my wheels are turning on that. So that the firm foot ever was the lower. What do you think that means? Because he's basically saying firm foot now. So after he rested, I resumed on the desert slope, up the mountain, after this kind of a dark moment of the soul, loss of identity, consternation, melancholy, doesn't matter, all these emotions. Now he says, so that the firm foot ever was the lower. Think about that juxtaposition. Firm foot, firm, but lower. Think about that. So maybe, let's see if we can make sense of this. Maybe this next step in the life is stepping on the rock, the stronger foundation, not on the sand that maybe was where you previously had built your life. Now you're on the rock. Now you're stepping. And lo, he says, and lo, exclamation point, almost where the ascent began, a panther light and swift exceedingly. which with a spotted skin was covered over. Now, that one I have to dig in. So if you got some insight on that, type it in and I'll share it. But there's so much in this, and I love it. And I'm so blessed to be able to share it with you today. And I want to say, make friends with this part of your journey. Make friends. And there was something else I'm not going to be able to pull it up right now, but we'll let this marinate. We got enough here. And so if you feel like, midlife has been an end, it's not. It's a new beginning. So let me grab some shares here. Yeah. So when he talks about going to sleep, Mandy says the world lured us into a slow drifting slumber. Where is your truth? That's a great question. Where is your truth? Yeah. So this quote here, Mandy, you're saying, even through the void of emptiness, he kept going. Yes. And I got a song. It's called Be the Void. I'm going to be playing it on the TikTok live here in a moment. And just want to give you some shout outs today. Thanks for being here. It's about embracing all of your life's journey. It all has profound purpose, but you're going to feel lost. You're going to feel that. And what I said here in my journal is make friends with it. Make friends with it. Make friends with these sentiments. The old identity that you relied upon has changed or been destroyed. You may ask, who am I? Does my life matter? Did I miss my chance? Did I make the wrong decision? Make friends with these sentiments. They have something to teach. And so Mary Lee is on here. I still feel lost and even sick. Okay, so I'm going to address that once we get offline here. But, make friends with it. And resistance is not your friend. Resistance is resisting what life has given you. It's a normal human reaction to resist what has happened, especially when there's heavy tragedy involved. And Mary Lee, my heart goes out to you. I know you're in a season right now. So to go back to this, to go back to the beginning here, midway upon the journey of our life, I found myself within a forest dark, for the straightforward pathway had been lost. And then it says, ah me, how hard a thing is to say, what was this forest savage, rough and stern? Questioning it, which in the very thought renews the fear. So you're not alone. That's number one. You are not alone. I can assure you, you feel alone, but you're not alone. And I'll talk more about that when I go offline. There was something else I wanted to share. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. So let's just take a moment to pause and breathe. And I do want to share something here as well before we wrap up. It's going to be this. So take a moment just to pause and breathe. And my call to action would be to be in touch with what you're feeling right now. What are you feeling right now? Can you allow the feeling, or are you resisting the feeling? Allow it. Take a moment to pause and breathe. Breathe in through your nose. Drive the air down deep into your lungs. Let your belly expand. The geese are chiming in again. You have a beautiful life to live still, no matter what. And here's what I see: when I trust, what I forgot comes back to me. Let your thinking mind yield to the soul's whisper. Let your thinking mind yield to the soul's whisper. Your mind thinks it's in control. Yield. And then the mind becomes a servant, not a master. If your mind is your master, you will not experience fulfillment. You will get results in life, but you will not be fulfilled. Your mind needs to be the servant. Let your obsessive thinking mind yield to the whisper of your soul. And the geese are agreeing. They're flying overhead. Oh, okay. So let me grab Mandy's got a great share here on the panther. A panther is not spotted, it's fully black or dark. The white spots have appeared as fragments of light ahead. Beautiful, beautiful. That's right on. So it's another symbol of the light on the dark panther. It's a beautiful metaphor. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. See the oasis in the struggle. Thanks for that. Open the mind and heart. This is midlife oasis. I call this my midlife oasis. So let me share this, and then we'll wrap this up today. This is a poem I wrote called "A Bee in Autumn." I got the glare, and Kay, are you still on? Yeah, Kay is on. So I have Kay. So I'll tell you the story. We're going to be auctioning this off. You got to stay tuned if you want this. Let me read it first. You don't know what it is, so let me share it with you. I'm going to read it, share the story, and then I'll read it again, tell you the story here. So it's called "A Bee in Autumn." A bee in autumn, a late flower blooms. A solo traveler, sucking every drop of nectar, even though death looms. Blissfully present, oblivious to winter's specter. So I wrote this poem last autumn based on experience that I had. This is a painting by Kay Gibbons. I think she painted it 2 years ago. She's on the TikTok live. And my friend Candace was diagnosed with ALS over 31 years ago. She was given 6 months to live. Talk about a story of overcoming. 6 months to live. She's outdone that by 31 years. She's still alive, but she's dealing with some challenges. She needs a new place to live. So Kay agreed to give her painting. I took the poem. I created this art piece. I got the glare. I'm doing my best. You can't fully see it. But we're going to do an auction. We're going to auction this off, and we're going to donate the money to help Candace get a new home. And by the way, I want to point out that Candace is still working. She lost her job during COVID, which caused her to have to get a new place. But she has a job. She's looking for a new job. She didn't want to rely on the state, even with her health challenges. So we're going to help her out. Stay tuned for the details. It's called "A Bee in Autumn." Look at the detail on the bee. It's beautiful. It's a sunflower. And it's about, like it says here, a solo traveler sucking every drop of nectar, even though death looms. And if you think about it, you might think, well, that's somebody who's going to be dying, but who knows? We're all solo travelers at some point, sucking every drop of nectar, right? We're only here for a breath. By some ratio in this vast universe, we're only here for a breath, an exhaltation. So we might as well enjoy every minute of it. So my name is Austin James Haynes, and go over to the YouTube channel, and you can, if you got a lot of value from this, go follow the YouTube channel and stay connected on what we're going to do for the auction. I want to thank Mandy for jumping in, another poet. She wrote the book Catalyst Poetry, and you can follow her. And I am coming out with my first poetry book. It's called Seeds of Infinitude. Stay tuned for that. This was a hand-drawn by my friend Anne. Took her like 8 hours to draw that thing. It's a dandelion, Seeds of Infinitude. And we'll wrap up the live stream on YouTube. And Lisa Owens. So Lisa is throwing a Robert Frost in here. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, from Robert Frost's. I forget the title. Stopping by a field on a snowy evening or whatever. So that's a beautiful corollary. Love that. So what a great episode today. I trust you'll go in and do something if this served you. That's all I ask. If this served you, I just ask you to do something. Click, subscribe, share. Just one thing. It takes you a couple seconds. It's a huge help for solo. I don't have a big team. I'm doing my best to reach more people with this Cultivate Conscious Moments, because I believe one conscious moment can radically change someone's life. And I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I've experienced it. And maybe that was for you today. So my name's Austin James Haynes. I'm going to end the YouTube and LinkedIn. I'll stay on TikTok so I can play this song, which I promised. Have a beautiful Sunday. Beautiful Sunday. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. God bless.